Talking with the experts.
Using the Vedic meditation method, Neo Silva discusses how in 20 minutes we can clear our head and overcome any business challenges in episode 293.
Anyway, I guess the crux of it is, we've dealt with change here for the past couple of years. I had to deal with a lot of change, both in terms of clients and locations and just different client demands, etc. And what helped me was to just have one constant, right? Just one anchor, so that no matter where I was, I still felt some kind of thing that just kept the feet on the ground and kept me grounded and kept me clear-headed. And so that's kind of it. Like what happened was, people kind of think, oh, well, you teach meditation and you run well-being programs. And we know you're a corporate. Does that mean like you just decided to kind of turn your back on the corporate career after learning this? And I'm like, no, it's the opposite. What actually happened was I learned this before all of that. It helped me do that.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Neo Silva, and we're going to be talking about 20 minutes to clear the head and overcome any business challenges. And Neo teaches a 20-minute Vedic meditation technique that, when you learn it correctly and integrate it into your day, helps business owners and executives have more clarity about challenges, adapt quickly to any curveballs, sleep soundly at night, and enjoy business and home life more so that you switch off and actually connect with the family when you are at home. Welcome, Neo, and I think I need to learn your 20-minute meditation.
You wouldn't be the first, Rose. Thanks for having me.
I hope you're very well.
I am. It's a good thing to be.
So what got you into learning how to do this 20-minute Vedic meditation technique?
Yeah, it's a good question. I learned it 28 years ago when I was still young, right? So I was 19 years old, and
oh God, you're only a baby.
Well, I was 19 years old back then, right? I'm now 48, recently turned 48. And what got me into it was the fact that I just there's a period in my life where I'd gone from high school to university. I wasn't sleeping well. I was partying too much, actually, but I wasn't sleeping well, and I was a bit kind of stressed and anxious. And also just looking for a little bit of, if you like, a bit more clarity. It's a time, any type of transition in your life, it's a time that's, it's key, and you've got to be making some good decisions at those junction points, right? And so in this case, what happened was I was out at a party. Again, there were a lot of parties.
Oh, when you're 19, it's never ending.
That's right. I mean, literally, some of them never end, right? Some of them go for more than 24 hours. But
you've been to them as well, have you?
There was a reason why I needed to meditate. No, I was at a party, and this was back in January 1994. And this guy, friend of a friend, he started telling me about meditation, because I'm like, yeah, I haven't done as well as I should have in first year uni, and I'm not kind of sure where I want to head. And he started mentioning this, and I was intrigued, right? January 1994, no one meditated, even me, right? Like my parents' background is one in, like, they're Sri Lankan. So I was used to kind of meditation being a thing done by Buddhist monks
Yeah, it
in the
was something done
village.
by the hippies, wasn't it? And by the woo-woo people. It wasn't done by, normal people. That was just not done.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. It definitely wasn't mainstream. And I was intrigued, right? Like, this guy, the white guy back in 1994 was telling me about it, and I was like, cool, yeah. And I did what you did back in 1994 when you were curious about something. I waited until I got home, and then I looked up the yellow pages. Right.
For those that are under like 30, Yellow Pages was used to be a really thick phone book. That was before Google came along.
It's an actual book that you used to thumb through alphabetically. Right.
Absolutely.
And I dialed M for meditation. And I kind of, I couldn't drop them an email or anything, not back then. So I waited until the next day, gave them a call, and essentially just heard all these things, right, about how it's something that just allows you to slow your mind down, right? So a short 20-minute technique that slows the mind down. And I felt that. And I felt that in the very first session, where there was just less tumble dryer thoughts, right? Like the constant spin of thoughts. That quietened. And when it quietens, what you're left with is just the important thoughts, not the rubbishy, angsty ones, right? Like there's actually a statistic which says that we have about 6,000 thoughts every day, and 90 to 95% of them are the recycled worries and angst from yesterday, right? And so do the maths. It's a case of, if you can stop the recycle, then you actually just clear up more space to think about the things that matter, right? And in my case, it was kind of a little bit of application and direction with regards to what I wanted to do. And that actually just became the backbone, right? I ended up doing really well at university in my undergrad, and going off to London and doing some further study, and then eventually even going off to Oxford, right? I completely turned it around. The reason I'd gone to this, turned to something like this just for a little bit more groundedness, was because I'd failed a couple of subjects. And like 6 weeks after learning, I suddenly was getting credits, and then eventually distinctions, and got honours overall, and did a master's, did well at that, and went off and did some further research at Oxford. And then worked as, I was working as a management consultant also. And that's a career in which you've got a lot of travel and a lot of crazy hours and a lot of challenges and a lot of, I was doing it in Europe, right? So there's a lot of travel and a lot of having to deal with different kinds of clients.
And cultures and all those things. And it would have been quite overwhelming. I mean, you're still quite young, and I would imagine that meditation would have calmed you down and put you in a good space.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like I regard it as the anchor when you've got all this change going on, as I did. At age 24, I moved from like sunny Sydney, which is where I'm from, to like grey Paris and big boulevards instead of beaches, right? And so it's this massive change. And, in order to do that, in order to deal with any massive amount of change, and we've had to deal with that for the past couple of years, right? I'm in Melbourne, of all places. So you can imagine, like, we've had stops and lockdowns and non-lockdowns.
I think in the world, I think Melbourne is the longest lockdown city in the world thus far. So yeah, just I don't think it really changed. It's going to change a lot. Although Singapore is going to be quite a thing, I think, coming up.
And so anyway, I guess the crux of it is we've dealt with change here for the past couple of years. I had to deal with a lot of change, both in terms of clients and locations and just different client demands, etc. And what helped me was to just have one constant, right? Just one anchor, so that no matter where I was, I still felt some kind of thing that just kept the feet on the ground and kept me grounded and kept me clear-headed. And so that's kind of it. Like what happened was, people kind of think, oh, well, you teach meditation and you run well-being programs. And we know you're a corporate. Does that mean like you just decided to kind of turn your back on the corporate career after learning this? And I'm like, no, it's the opposite. What actually happened was I learned this before all of that. It helped me do that. And then what actually happened is like back in 2016, I was in London and asked to this room full of business owners and execs, mainly in finance sector, but other areas too. And they were all freaked out because Brexit had just been voted on and they thought the sky was going to fall in. Little did they know that COVID was around the corner as well. But the point is that, I was asked to kind of field questions on how to do this and how to maintain headspace and how to actually make better decisions because you're just calmer. And when you're calmer, there's more clarity. And when you're calmer, you're more present, right? Like when you deal with people, as we do, right? When you deal with people, what they show is that the thing that matters most is just how present you are, how warm you come across. More than competence, right? There's a study around this that shows that it's an academic called Susan Fisk, and she shows that your ability to be warm and to generate trust with the other person is far more important than even your level of competence, right? And it relates to a caveman, cavewoman instinct where we're kind of, the other person's just kind of programmed to think, is this a friend or is this a foe? And so that's what everyone's weighing up to begin with. And so the question is, well, how do you stay warm? And how you stay warm is you stay calm and you stay present. And when you do that, people pick up on it. Like I've had clients, and even when I was corporate, I can string together the words, yeah, it'll be okay. But if I'm kind of saying that and I look panicked and I look really worried and I'm sweating, what do you call it? Sweating beads, or what's the expression again?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Then, yeah, the words don't count for anything. But if actually instead there's just a sense of calm, then that's actually what's pretty reassuring for the client. Like all our clients, all they ever want to know is, can you solve a problem?
That's it.
And if you can kind of generate that trust where they're like, yeah, this person's calm and they're warm and they're saying some sensible things as well, it's half the battle, right? And so going back to what happened in 2016, I kind of got all this great feedback from them where they were just saying, you know a lot about this and you know about it in a really practical way that's suitable for business owners and, busy people. Like, you're not a hippie. And I'm like, thank you for saying that. but it was also, I said, well, yeah, that's because that's what I've done. That's the life. I've lived your life, right? I've just lived it with something that's kind of grounded me through it so that I can handle the various challenges. And the thing is, like, honestly, when I felt that, gratitude that these people felt from just those interactions, right? The knowledge that, yeah, like there's someone there and they have some pointers and technique and all of this around how to kind of cut a path and a successful path through. When I felt that, I was like, yeah, I want to actually do this. Like I want to do it. Like I want to kind of share it because you can almost bottle, like you'd like to bottle that kind of feeling you get from someone who's really satisfied and who's more than satisfied, really relieved and really grateful for what you've helped them with.
What is the difference between the Vedic meditation and just normal meditation?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I got a little thing over the fact that too much gets called meditation, right? And it's that even if you look at studies like academic research on meditation and mindfulness, they point out that different things, different techniques do different things. And to just call them all meditation is like calling everything that has wheels a car, right? I mean, there's cars and there's trucks and there's really nice cars and then there's like
Bicycles and motorbikes and
yeah, all of that, right? All of that. And they all do different things and they all have strengths and weaknesses. And so the difference is what it does. What it actually does is I've taught people. So I taught someone back in London about 4 years ago now. Yeah, it is. It's 4 years almost exactly. And he came to me after having learned some other stuff. And he's like, Neo, I've been trying to do mindfulness for the past 3 years and it's kind of stressing me out. I said, well, if your meditation's stressing you out, you might need something else, right? But he was like, he just said, it's tough, that it takes a fair bit of effort and it takes a lot of concentration. And so he came and he learned what I teach, and it's something that people feel the effect of in the very first session. One of the differences is you end up slowing down thinking spontaneously, effortlessly, right? And that happens because it's a mantra-based technique. What a mantra is, it's a sound, it's a vibration, but it's a personal one, right? And I'll explain 2 elements of that. One is we know that sound and vibration has an effect on us, right? That's why, like, you know, if I were to listen, or if we were to play Metallica, that would have one effect, right? We might jump up and down and shake our hair. You got more hair than me to shake around. And if I played like Mozart or something soothing, it would have a very different effect. So it tells us that sound and vibration do have an effect on the body. And hence a mantra, which is simply a sound / vibration, does have an effect, but it's a unique one in that when it's personalized, when it's one that's actually, that matches your particular, you know, psychophysiological type, because there's a whole range of mantras. It's not one generic one. And why we have several is because different people, you know, think about it. If you're going to induce the same kind of calm in 2 different people, and one person's a fairly anxious, wound up type, and the other person's a kind of lethargic type, then you're going to need different kinds of things to move them to a more balanced state, whatever that balanced state happens to be for them. And so what's unique, though, is it actually stops you thinking, right? Like, I could play Mozart. I mean, I've sat in concerts, right? And I'm still thinking. I'm listening and I'm going, oh, it's nice. But I'm still having all these thoughts about, I got all those meetings tomorrow. What am I going to do? Is the slide pack prepared? Was that done? You know, all of that. So you're still kind of thinking, right? You're still whirring away. What's extraordinary, though, is, and I've had this with people in the very first session, they're like, what just happened? I just stopped thinking for a large portion and I just feel really refreshed. You know, I had 2 things. Like, one was, I had a lady called Sue. So she's in HR, and Now, there's a mixture of what's happened over the past year or so, right? You've got some professions and they're like swamped and overwhelmed and they've just got too much stuff. And you've got others where they're like, yeah, I've had a bit of a slump kind of thing. And she was in the former. So Sue, I met her and she was just said, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. And I could kind of hear it, right? She's really, really good at what she does, but you could just hear there's a quickening of the voice and there's a little bit of breathiness. And, you know, like, so she said, well, can you teach me this thing? And I did. And she felt that in the very first session where she's like, Neo, it's incredible. All of that kind of excess thinking has kind of faded off. And I just feel rested and much more clarity. And so that is one of the big differences. It's kind of analogous. Here's the analogy. It's analogous to how it works is this: your mind comes back quicker afterwards because it's rested, which is analogous to what happens if you do an intermittent fast. You rest your stomach and your digestive system for X number of hours, they chill. So that when you do put food in, they work optimally, right? They're raring to go, they're whirring, and they're like, yeah, let me at it. I'm ready to kind of create some enzymes and really break that stuff down. It's the same with your mind. If you do have a technique that essentially calms it, but calms it to the extent where you stop thinking for 20 minutes, what happens afterwards is your thinking is just clearer. You've rested and there's clarity. You know, people feel that often, even who don't do this kind of meditation, they'll feel it. I guess intuitively they can sense it, because when they've had a really good night's sleep, they're like, yeah, I'm kind of fresher in the morning, I'm raring to go. And then once they've kind of had all these thoughts through the course of the day and life's just come at them thick and fast, they're like, oh, I'm just spent, right? I'm just spent. I can't do much more. And so that's the difference. The difference is, I mean, all meditations they do something. What this one does is it stops you thinking so that your thinking comes back fast. It also does something, I'm not going to get too geeky. I'm a little geeky and I like the science, but it also induces a particular kind of calmer, harmonious brainwave, which you then start to radiate afterwards, right? Like if you've got that, and then you're talking to people, we pick up on that all the time, right? In our interactions, we can tell when someone's a little bit wound up, whereas someone's kind of calm and you know, they've got this kind of thing. And so, yeah, that's kind of what it does.
Right. So when is the best time to practice? In the morning, at night before you go to bed?
It's a good question. So what I do when I teach is I work with people closely around their particular schedule, because people are different. You know, I've taught everyone from execs to, you know, HR types, business owners, sometimes people in real estate, etc., sometimes people who are fitness coaches. All of these people have very, very different routines. So then what I work on with them is scheduling it in a way so that their particular routine, they've just got, you know, you charge, let's put it this way, you need to charge your battery at a particular time that suits the time when you need to draw on it most. The other answer to your question, though, is twice. It's done twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. The 20 minutes in the morning just gives you it's a kickstart to the day. And then mid-afternoon through to early evening, depending on the person, depending on their schedule, that's what I work with them on, is when they get a little booster. because let's face it, there's a 3 p.m. slump, right? Like I've had a lot of business owners say, help me with that 3 p.m. slump. I'm just really inefficient from then onwards. I just get less done. So, you know, that's kind of why we put a second one in, just because it kind of gets the motor whirring again. Give yourself a bit of rest and then whir again. And the technique itself is shown to provide 2 to 5 times more rest than sleep. Like sleep itself isn't very restful, you know, like when you're running away from that two-headed dragon and you're naked and there's a school friend.
You have some good dreams. You have some good dreams.
But what I'm saying is, like, dreams are often nonsensical, right? Like, they're weird, but what happens is you've got, like, when you're running away from something, like, they show that your body can't really tell the difference between, it thinks it's real, and therefore your heart's pumping. That's why someone wakes up screaming and going, oh my God, that was terrible. They thought it was real. And your body acts it out. And so sleep's not that restful, you know. And yeah, this kind of thing just helps to provide it's a supplement to sleep. It helps people sleep better. I had a client called Manoj who actually had sleep apnea. So much so that he was on a machine for it right at night. And 1 week after learning, like prior to learning, he was 63 apneas, right? Which is dangerous. Like you can.
Yeah, my husband's 84.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
See, and he was having a thing where sometimes he'd like catch himself from dozing off, even like through the day, sometimes, you know, even at a traffic light or something. And he's like, oh my God. He learned, and seriously, he reduced to 3.5 apneas an hour 1 week after learning, right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so it's things like that. And yeah, anyway, in a nutshell, those are the kinds of things that it helps people with. Yeah.
Have you written a book on this technique?
It's interesting you should say that. The technique, when taught, the technique's more than 5,000 years old, and it's been passed down as an oral tradition. It's not something you can actually learn from a book. And the reason for that is because it's a vibration. And a vibration is oral and oral, right? You need to kind of hear it being said. And it's not the kind of thing that can be done in a book. I have drafted a book more on certain tips and pointers, but the actual learning of the technique itself is something that's, you know, it needs to be done in person. And if it's done in person and done correctly and you receive the right mantra, then you get all the benefits. If you try and work it out yourself, it's a bit like, what's a good example? I mean, it'd be a bit like me trying to teach myself a violin. You know, it'd be messy. It'd be messy. Wouldn't be good. I wouldn't get it right. I'd be annoying the neighbours as well.
That's it, yes. Neo, where can people find you if they want to work with you?
If they want to work with me, what they can do is set up a 15-minute chat. For me, it's always about, can I help? Right, whatever it is. I've helped people who are sleeping badly, feeling overwhelmed, who are stressed or anxious, and sometimes I've helped people who just want to kind of just feel a bit more joy and enjoyment in their life, right? They've reached a stage in which it's like, I've worked so hard, but I can't switch off and I can't connect even to my family and friends. So what I like to do is I like to have a 15-minute chat with whoever, just to kind of see, can I help? And so the best thing to do is to reach out. They can reach out to me via my website. I'm guessing you'll drop that in somewhere. I can otherwise say it. which is neosilvasmeditation.com. A little bit of a mouthful, but it's behind me, which is my first name, Neomal, Neomal, Silvas, Salvas, then meditation.com. All
Perfect.
one word.
Perfect.
And
Any
they can
last
also,
words of wisdom, Neo, that you'd like to share?
yeah, the last word of wisdom is your mind is really, honestly, your mind's actually the most powerful tool you've got, right? We all have a set of histories that make it that we will come at a problem and solve it in a particular way. And that's what our clients come to us for. But you need to keep your mind clear, right? If it's overrun because you're stressed or overwhelmed or anxious, then you're going to perform suboptimally, right? And the other thing is, if you're over anxious, then, or you're overzealous or whatever you are in your interactions, then it's kind of like a little off-putting for your client or your lead or your potential client. So it's kind of keep your mind clear because you make better decisions. Keep your mind clear because, you then actually are more present. And when you're more present, people feel the warmth of that and they're attracted to it. And they just think they're calm. They can solve this for me.
That's it. All right, Neo, it's been an absolute pleasure learning about this meditation, and perhaps we'll get together and you might be able to show me how it's done.
I'd love to do that.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. All the best. Thanks, Rose. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.